You know what? You have to go make sure and see that my intro is played. Oh, gotta cut the music off. No, no music. No music. No music. Oh, hello, everybody. What's going on? Mind you, I'm playing my. Oh, shit. Oh, you can hear me on here, right? Because I'm talking on here. I don't have to be on my phone. Get. Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, don't. Don't mind me. Okay, here we go. There we go, honey. Very good. I thought I was on my phone because I have to listen. I have these new headphones. Mind you, I'm kind of glad that I didn't know any better because these headphones don't. Do they have a speaker thing on them? Do they have Wi-Fi you can speak into? I don't know. I don't think they do. There's nothing you can talk into on here. Right. Hey y'all, what's going on? How are you doing? I hope you're doing fine. It is 10:20, Wednesday, July 22nd. And I'm chilling, having a good time. Well, having a good time by myself. Ooh, but ready to have a little chocolate. I'm actually sewing a project here right now. Just doing a little bit of sewing. But I wanted to get on here. So I made a project on Patreon about banishing. So I really wanted to talk about banishing. The art of banishing people, places, banishing spirit out of your life. The art of banishing. Now, mind you, wait a minute, you don't hear me. See, I need my headphones because y'all may not hear me. You may hear me well. You probably do. You know what? I tested my microphone and it was actually working really, really well. I'm going to test it. Can I test my microphone? Will they let me test it? No, they will not. And there's no one on here. Not right now. It's there's no one on here now to let me know if everything is fine. Now, mind you, in the comments, let me know later on when you see the video. With or without the mic. So let me know. So hi. I hope you're doing well. Now, mind you, the reason why banishing is so very important concerning Hoodoo and Conjure in the Deep South, because it's a form of spiritual protection. Not only protection from spirit and the nasty things that can come from living in spirit, but also too from living down south, and for Black folks, brothers and sisters, living in a space that could have been, a lot of times, potentially very toxic, and in many instances, can be potentially deadly for us. Absolutely. That as many of us are starting to see, even in modern times, it's not always safe to be. It's not always safe to be a Black person and be a Black person physical in our skin. And unfortunately, a lot of young people that are part of this modern generation, unfortunately, we told all of you, us old heads, we told y'all that this shit was real. You didn't believe us. I'm sorry that many of you have to go through this. It is real. But you have many of us to protect you, especially hoodoos and conjurers that can teach you how to protect yourself spiritually. And you have many people of so many different colors and hues and nationalities, creeds and classes of folks that love you. Yes, it is ugly, but there are a lot more people out there that love you. Now, for the people that are kind and nice, y'all gonna need to learn how to speak up because you're not saying enough. Now, just to protect on the inskirts, some of y'all need to speak up. A lot of you need to speak up. Because the loud, ignorant ones, they are loud as hell. Just as loud and ignorant as they can be. Just loud. Just loud and wrong. But anyway, let's get to banishing. Now, banishing, even the word banishing itself says a lot too as well. Banishing comes, I forget the Latin prefix to it. but I believe it comes from the Latin and or Portuguese prefix "banho" means to forget, something like that, forget or to leave behind. And of course, Spanish, because Spanish back in the Banish, of course, it had spoken in Spanish or in Portuguese or even in Latin. It had a prefix on not prefix, not suffix to an ending on it too as well. That I can't pronounce. I need to do my research a little bit better. But that part of it was mean to do away with and to. Where's my lighter at? Gonna have a little bit of tobacco because we're gonna open read this right here. We're gonna probably do a little bit of spirit work, and I love, as I talk with y'all, I love to commune with spirit, and I do so with tobacco definitely. Now, the one thing about, mind you, there are three types of banishments that are going on. Now, mind you, there's banishment concerning of spirit, banishment holding a protective space around your home or in your room, wherever you reside, and you need a protective space. That is a form of banishment. It's also a form of just making sure that you're absolutely safe. But the act of banishment is to keep things away, to keep things at bay, to banish them. That's what banish actually means. Definitely. Mm. Now, also, too, the second act of banishing is to banish concerning your physical person. That's also an act of banishing as well. A lot of times when you're in restaurants or in public spaces, you can be around people that you don't necessarily like, or people that feel off. Not liking someone, can keep in mind in your free divine will, it's perfectly okay to not conceptually like somebody. We can find out later. But I'm a really big believer coming from the old school of Conjure and Hoodoo. My grandparents always taught me this. Listen to your first mind. Listen to your first thought. Don't go against your intuition. Your intuition is your first protector. Granddaddy always said your intuition is your guardian angel. To deny them their fruitful, as Daddy would say, to deny them their fruitful gains will be in spite of your well-being. Now, what does Daddy mean by that, Granddaddy? When spirit tell you to do something, do it. We'll figure out the rest later. And I guarantee you, the way you felt the first time probably is right. I cannot tell you how many times I've been alongside Nana, especially my grandparents, my grandfather, who he holds space for women, for male people, men folks. When I was younger, my grandfather had the service of Kim. Hey, Otter, baby. Hey, Otter. Hold on, she'll come and tell you. Yeah, there we go. Um, my grandfather used to do whole service when I was much younger. He stopped doing that when I was 14, 12, 13, or 14. Holding service, like, wasn't seance, but it's men folks that wanted to contact those that have recently departed or those for whatever reason, usually to get advice or to talk to spirit, almost like a medium, but the spirit didn't come unto him. They were there. He was along to pass messages. I don't know why he stopped doing that, though. I don't know why he stopped. Oh, I think it was a mixture of coming across one client that I think their ancestor was too possessive and wanted to be around daddy. You know, a spirit when you tap into your mediumship gifts, and a spirit who just don't want to go away. Yeah, I'm pretty sure dad has had that happen before. Something about this. Now, this could not be the reason, but something about this one, because I remember this. He just couldn't lose that spirit. I think that's why. And also, too, he was getting older. I think it was a combination of the two: getting older and not being able to lose that spirit. I was like, what? No, he makes more money basically conjuring, doing spirit work, mediumship. That's not much. It's not a service that he really can utilize for. So why go through the hassle? Anyway, You know how many times when I was younger, people want to talk to their ancestor that's crossed over, you know, not dead, because we don't really die. The body dies, but our spirit doesn't die. Absolutely not. You want to talk to them. You know how many times I've heard just sitting there in that little chair of spirit talking to daddy, and how they express something to the extent where they should have listened to their first mind. They had gotten a warning. They didn't heed to that warning. Sometimes, a lot of times, spirit won't talk about that, but sometimes they do. Or they'll hint around it, like, I should have known better. Or, especially if the warning, if they didn't heed that warning, and there are other people that are in skin that are still in danger, like they will become that warning that they did not heed. It's a thing. So a lot of times what banishing does, it helps you get rid of spirit, helps keep you safe. For instance, if that person, if you get a warning of something, you just feel that something's not right, more than likely what banishing is going to help do is keep that negative energy away. Absolutely. Banishing also too is not only just to protect your person, but to protect your home, things, everything like that. Now, also too, now we come to the third part of banishing. And it's still spiritual banishing, but it's a type of banishing that's actually, all of banishing is considered right hand work. Some people say it's left hand work. I feel it's right hand work. Because most spirits you're banishing from you are spirits that shouldn't fucking be there to begin with. And a lot of them are notoriously nefarious and malignant and are horrible, and they stink. Just joking. We know they probably do. So the thing about it is this, honey. How does the spirit stink, child, please? When you're around really nefarious spirits, some especially demons, you're gonna, especially if a house is really infested with demons, you're gonna smell them. You're gonna smell sulfur. You're gonna smell rotten eggs. You're gonna smell something like rotten meat. I've been in. Oh, child, here comes another story. Boy, I have thousands of them. Oh my God, we were in one railroad house. House was in Thibodeau, another house in Thibodeau. Now, mind you, it's 4 or 5 miles from Champagne Plantation, which had burned down, and they were getting ready to refurbish it. Mind you, the railroad house is called a railroad house for a reason. Why? Because you open that front door. Hey, Otter, your death smell like rotten meat. It sure do, honey. Mind you, you look through a railroad house. It's called a railroad house because you open that front door, you can look straight through it. Look straight on down it, the kitchen on down to the back door. That's why it's called a railroad house. Now, mind you, we had the landowner that he wanted to, he had refurbished it, and this was well before Airbnb. No, he wanted to rent this out to somebody, and he rented it out to 2 or 3 people, and he couldn't keep a tenant in it. And so when, pardon me, Lily had took, was it Lily? I think it was one of the cousins. One of the cousins had took Daddy to do like a consultation. He did, and Daddy basically said, he said when I walked up in there, I just smelled rotten meat. Now, mind you, Daddy can be quite dramatic. He can be, and so I said, Daddy, really rotten meat for real though. And he said, and Daddy said, well, I'm telling you the truth. It smelled like rotten meat. And I said, Daddy, rotten meat for real, for real. He said, well, I'm gonna take you there tomorrow. You and your mama gotta help me work. I said, well, okay, fine then, fine then. I'll tell you something. You could smell that smell before you walk down the driveway. We thought it was a dead dog in the house because it was on them cedar, them the the concrete cedars, the concrete, what you call them, concrete things. It was on 2 of them, so it was up high, and it had the lattice, all the lattice in front of it, because it was a high house sitting high off the ground, so the rats and things couldn't get in it. Mind you, this is in Thibodeau. Thibodeau likes to flood. So a lot of our houses are on the concrete pillars. They're not called pillars, they're called concrete blocks. Mind you, there's 20, probably 50 or 60 of them under one house, and then it's high. That's why when you're in the low country, most of them houses you'll see the lattice. And them lattice awnings that are in front of the way, so that they keep them there so animals can't get under the house. Mind you, the house is so high. When I was little, because we had an old house like that mom and daddy was renting out. Child, on that house, one of the lattices, and under our house too, the lattice came loose. I used to hide under there. I made a whole pallet under there. I sure did. Now, mind you, it was dirt. It was dirty, but sometimes that dirt gets hard, and what you can do, you can take a little broom and sweep it, and put a little blanket there. Child Cherry, my German Shepherd, Cherry baby, my dog used to get under there and used to sleep with me. We take naps because it's hot as hell, and I don't want to work anymore because mind you, my grandparents gonna put me to work. They like to slave drive me. Come on out of here, I got something. I just finished doing something, and I'm tired. I want to take a nap. I want to take a nap. I went in the house. Mind you, they couldn't find me. To this day, I don't think they know where I would. Probably do now, but they couldn't find me. I'm under the house sleeping. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I was so happy I did that. You know why? Because under the house is where I could hear all the stories. Because mind you, now the middle of the house is where it's nice and cool. Now mind you, it's gonna be cut off. Uh, and mind you, there's a little bit of hole there that goes to the front of the house. I can't go there because it's separated by a big old thing of wood. I forget why. I think the gas main is over there. But the back part of it by the steps, that's clean. The whole under steps was clean, just completely clear, just concrete pillars. That was perfect. That's my playground. There are probably toys still under the house and everything. Under the house we live in now, probably toys under there. Toys, books, plastic soldiers. I used to have a thing with them little Tonka trucks, little plastic trucks. They probably a lot of them under there, Legos, all kinds of shit. I buried one of my little goldfinches under there. She probably under there. Um, what my goldfinch name? She was yellow. She was such a pretty bird. I think that's what I called her, yellow. Yellow, I think so. Yellow's under there. I buried her under there. If Cherry didn't dig her up and eat her. I hope she didn't do that. That's horrible. Very, very horrible and disrespectful. I don't think my dog would do that. Anyway, never mind. Now, I used to go on the porch and listen to grown folks talk. Why do you think I know so much? Half of what I know is eavesdropping. Listen to people talk. Hold on. I'm on the other thing. Okay, I'm on Discord as well as in Clubhouse too. Okay, ain't nobody up in there. Good. Ain't nobody up in there. Good. Ain't nobody up in there. Very good. Now, because listen, I gotta check back and forth because I don't want to be rude. Now, anyway, we walked up in there. Mind you, we could smell that smell going down the driveway. And mind you, I didn't believe that. I thought there was a dog on the side of the house because the house was stacked so high on them concrete pillars. And I looked at Daddy and I said, Daddy, they got a dog up under there. I see why they have this feeling of evil spirit because it smelled evil. My grandfather looked smack at me. He said, that ain't no dog. It smelled like a dead animal. Daddy said, that ain't no dog. Y'all, when we got in the house, that house smelled like they had 4 or 5 dead animals inside that house. And if you got to the lead bedroom, the main bedroom, the smell got worse. And I don't know how the hell they sit up in there, but I'm gonna tell you, you know how it was a demon. That railroad house had another room attached to it that man who owned the property had built onto it. While we go up in there, mind you, his mama used to sleep up in there. And she had all them crucifixes on the wall. Mind you, she had that old pink mauve wallpaper with the roses and everything. It looked like a convalescent home, to be quite frank with you. Southern lady loved roses. She had roses, just roses on a little bit of rose wallpaper. It's really cute, little rose and daisy wallpaper. You could tell the older lady sleeping, and mind you, he still hadn't. I don't know what happened to her. She's probably living with him. That smell was not up in there. It was not in there. It's like somebody just cut it off. You walk through the threshold. Mind your daddy walking in first. I'm doing this. Ooh, this is steak, daddy. Daddy's steak. My grandmama, she's about to gag. So she'd go outside. You walk up in the eldest room. Nothing. Nothing's there. And then, mind you, we having a breather. Because me and daddy know. That's spirit. We get ready. Hold your breath. Walk right out into all that nasty ass funk. It's like the spirits, the closer I feel the spirits were haunting us while we were there. And the spirits were, the closer they got, the more they stank. Mind your daddy got them out of there. It took about 2 or 3 hours. And I'm going to tell you what it did. Let's just go and get into banishing remedies. Because that's what you need anyway, banishing remedies. Daddy took snake root. Because the first thing he did, he gridded the home. You have to grid the front way because it's a railroad home. Got a back door, a front door. We grid the back door with railroad ties. Also, too, the railroad ties, we also put blue fabric there because, mind you, we're dealing with demons. So first we're gonna grid the front door, You do the railroad ties, you tie one up, you tie one down with red fabric. Then you take that blue fabric, and you grid it that way. Tie them up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to try to tie a sachet blue and red of calamus. No, not calamus. Camphor, wormwood, Jamaican bitter root, which the hoodoo apothecary had a lot of. They had a lot of it. Nobody wanted it. Daddy bought a shitload of it. So we started using all the remedies and they worked good. Hold on. Saltpeter, sea salt, sulfur, black sulfur, mouldy black sulfur. Graveyard dirt, the graveyard dirt from the front of the graveyard, we paid for it for Papagette. Thunderstruck glass, Granddaddy bought that from the Hoodoo shop too. He had a big thing, just snap it in half and put it inside the bag because we need the power of thunder. Rue. What else do we have up in there? It's been so long ago. It was something else. Asafoetida. Asafoetida because it smelled so bad. And I said, Daddy, you're going to make the house smell worse. Asafoetida. 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 Now, mind you, that's inside. No, that was inside. You split that between the red bag and the blue bag. And you take those bags, you fasten them to the railroad ties. And you put those railroad ties above the front threshold, above the front door, and above the back door. Okay? Above the back door. Now, we got to get ready for floor wash. That floor wash is going to have ammonia. It's going to have ammonia in it. Snake root. Rue. Orange zest. Lemon zest. Bergamot is hard to find. Lemon zest. Rue. I said rue. Oh, wormwood. Thank you, wormwood. Y'all get that? Okay, with ginger. Make it speedy. I said rue. Then what we're going to take in ammonia. Oh, apple cider vinegar. Now, when you put ammonia up in there, put 5 caps of ammonia, Bo Peep ammonia, regular ammonia. We use the lemon ammonia. And then 5 caps of apple cider vinegar. What else needs to be up in there? Oh, dandelion root. That's it. And dandelion root. That's it. Now boil everything down. Usually we'll prepare that before we get there, because ain't nobody using these people's stuff because they funny enough as it is. Why the hell? Oh, there we go. Because they funny. So we have everything prepped up beautifully. And then once you do that, you're gonna mop from the front door to the back door. Now, mind you, it's a railroad house. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna mop to the front to the back. Don't mop from the back to the front because that invites in bad luck. There's an old saying that back door is like a booty hole. You're not gonna clean your ass. You're not gonna clean your body from your asshole out. You clean your body from your head down and then your booty. Not this order, not pattern, right? There you go. Now also too. Now for the ghost. Now while Dad is mopping, I probably be mopping. We're gonna also grid the corners. Now mind you, we in the clubhouse or Discord we talked about gridding a home. Now we're gonna take for those of you who don't know me, who are just now seeing this video. Hi, how you doing? I hope this helped you. Probably will. Thank you. Now, what you're gonna need is 10 Gerber food bottles of. Hold on. The little bitty bottles, the Gerber baby food glass bottles. They're smaller than this. Of sea salt, sulfur, and garlic powder. A little bit smaller than this. Go ahead and put them in strategic areas of the home. While with the ghosts in the house. Oh, I'm gonna get to that, but we have to get to the banishing. All the banishing tools. And mind you, what that's going to do, that's going to grid the home. That's going to grid the home. Okay, now mind you, to keep that grid nice and solid, there we go. To keep the grid nice and solid, what we going to do, after you to basically to mop the home, everything's perfectly fine, then you're going to go and, because that home had a whole stairs up on it because they had renovated it and they had built an awning over the front stairs, so it was elevated. We couldn't put no railroad ties in front of it. So what we did basically is that we put down get the hell out of here salt. Get the hell out of here salt. That's black pepper. Ouch. Sulfur. Black pepper, sulfur, saltpeter. If you have powdered snake root, black pepper, sulfur, salt, sea salt, saltpeter. Um, what is that resin? It's not Frankie. Oh, camphor. Not camphor. Copal. Copal is beautiful. Copal for inside the home, and then we're gonna go. Listen, also to do me a favor. Almost forgot. Take that anule square. The anule. Azul, blue, anil. Right. How the hell you say it? The blue square. Yeah. Take that. You can get it from any botanica. And go ahead, crush it up into a powder. Mix that and put that over both thresholds. Front threshold before you walk in. Inside threshold after you walk in, over both. And I'm gonna tell you something. I want you front threshold. And mind you, don't cross those thresholds. Don't cross them. You'll never feel comfortable inside your home. You see so many people doing that. They'll put the threshold powder out here, and then as they walk, the threshold powder gets sloshed. It's just scooped up about. You take that little broom and you sweep that shit, and you create that partition. You'll never be able to get it comfortable inside your home. Inside coming outside coming inside, and inside going outside. No. Just take your broom and sweep very nicely. Just sweep, sweep, sweep. There you go. Sweep. There you go. Now, I don't want to know why it was haunted. Child, it was haunted for a number of reasons. But I'm going to tell you the most recent reason. Mind you, this happened quite a few years ago. I'm going to have to light some tobacco about this. This is some bullshit. This was in the late 70s, early 80s, late 70s. I'm hearing about it. I'm 14, 13 or 14. 14. Cleaning. Daddy, why is the house so infected? Mind you, Dad, it worked so well. When we started to grit the home, we noticed the smell started to lift. Another thing happened too, and because we were banishing that bullshit smell, that bullshit spirit outside the potty mouth. We were banishing that nasty ass. We were, we were banishing that horrible spirit outside the home. That fuck spirit. I can't help myself. So it. I'm sorry. So why am I laughing? It ain't funny. Anyway, now, well, this ain't funny at all. It ain't funny. That house, the man who owned it and the land, that land has been in that family was in that family for a very long time. That man, when he was young, he had a stepmother. That house had a larger house that was on it that had burned down. That house he lived in. Good evening, Circles and Squares. That house he had burned down when he was young. So his mother, before it burned down, lived in that house. Do you know his daddy took on a cleaning woman to help clean the house? Okay. Why did he moved her in to that railroad house? The mama didn't know that the cleaning woman cleaning her house was his lover. When his lover came up pregnant and wanted to tell his wife, why he kill her? That was not the only thing that happened at the house. When I tell you daddy had been expecting to clean that house for over 10 or 15 years and was shocked that man had called him sooner. But see, it had been dilapidated and had been uncared for a number of years. And the man called because he had renovated it. His daddy, his son, I guess the man had died, the murderer died. I guess he had died. He called him and he renovated it and was shocked that nobody could live in it. Mind you, his old man had murdered that woman. Don't know what happened to her body. Don't know what happened to her. Have no idea. Have no idea. None. Daddy say he know what happened to her. Half of her, parts of her is buried under that house. I just got to chill. Sweet Lord Jesus, Heavenly Father, I just got to chill. All right, Lord. Parts of her is buried under the house. It's gossip, and we can't talk about it. He killed more than that. Artie, you beat me to the punch. I got to sit up to talk about this. If you think his daddy, if you think that was the first woman he killed, I'm going to sell you Brooklyn Bridge for 2 pennies. You get a penny, and you're going to give me one back. Where you think they buried at? Why you think the main house burned down? Sometimes spirit gets so tired of the bullshit. Mind you, this is slave land we're talking about. Slaves already in that ground. And you're going to put new people there. Murdered people. Just about every slave in that ground was not buried properly. They already mad. That ground has always been haunted of Thibodeau. It's always been haunted. I remember passing by it one time, and I was with one of my aunts. And I remember as we passed by, I must have been, because I was living with grandmama and granddaddy for 2 years. I was 12 or 13. And no, 12, because this was 2 years after we were cleaning the house. Because I remember driving, I remember us driving there, and I remember recognizing things. I had been there before, at least once before. I remember as we passed by, and I remember telling whoever was, I don't remember who was driving me, driving all of us kids. I don't want to go there. I don't want to pass there. I did everything I could. We were going past just a highway, passing by someplace else. I don't want to go there. I don't want to pass there. And I remember telling one of my cousins there. And I remember we passed by. I got down in the seat like that, like I was hiding. I remember that because I didn't want them. I don't know what I didn't want to see me. I wanted something not to see me. Some damn spirits. That land had seen a lot of blood. To this day, that railroad house is still there. It's clean, but they're always talking about occurrences happening on it. Mind you, I had recommended it for as a paranormal haunt, a paranormal space to go to when I was doing paranormal investigations in Houston. I had two teams in Houston that I was staying with Mama, and I was doing remote because I was so sick of that in NYC. Just stayed about 6 months with Mama because I had sublet my apartment. Just sick. It was just I don't want to be here anymore. Well, I want to be a mama because she was acting. Mama sometimes she gets homesick for me. Well, why can't you sing? And I know she do because she start complaining anyway. So spend time with her, and do what I like to do. I love to work with spirit. Okay. So I'd recommend it for a paranormal investigation. Mind you, it's one of the 2 or 3 locations I recommended. Dawn said no, out of the blue. Well, why not? No. Why? No. Never gave me explanation. But Don's psychic, and so is his wife, and I'm gonna respect that. Just because I'm biggity and don't mind going to dangerous places, those people got good sense. They not they probably not gonna do what I want to do. Now, mind you, that's not the end of the misery. We all suspect that man has killed other women and buried them all on that property. Mind you, that property now, mind you, there were 10 bodies that were found, slave people that were in bondage. Their graves were there because they had an old church that was there. This was a grand plantation that had its own chapel, and the slaves were buried around the chapel. They were given as best a funeral, as best of a ceremonial service that could be given to slaves. But there were 7 that were not. Now, mind you, that's just around the chapel, or what was the chapel. If you go there now, you're probably just going to see the foundation. And the foundation is just brick and mortar. It's just dirt bricks and mortar. That's all it is. The grass has probably grown over it since then. How come the closest you get to the bayou, the archaeological people came and they found over 36 bodies over there? All of them in different shapes and forms. Women, children, and men. It wasn't necessarily a mass grave because they all looked like they had passed away at different time periods, but very close time periods and buried very close together. Now, I theorize that there was a fever or contagion that passed through there, and the slaves caught it and became sick, and they were hurriedly buried. Close, mind you, the clue is burying them close to the water, not close enough for that water to come over, but close enough. It was old wise tale that you would bury people that were sick, you'd bury their feet facing the bayou. That water would take the sickness, take that spirit out into the bayou, instead of burying their feet facing the house, the big house. That spirit would go right into that house and make everybody else sick. So that lets me know that something was wrong with them with how they were buried, feet facing the bayou. That doesn't explain there were quite a few other bodies that were just bits and pieces of people. That was further along. that I don't know, that can't be explained. And like cut thigh bones, cut in half, knife marks on bones. Now they were buried in a mass burial that had 7 or 8 people in it. What were they doing to these people? Were they eating them? What the hell were they doing to them? These are people. We feel that they were going about doing ceremonial rites, something dark, dark magic. That's what we feel. Now, mind you, this ground has always thought to be very dark. It's been very dark since anybody could know. Mind you, it's so dark. The land you can grow. Mind you, that parcel when that boy's daddy was living, because he sold off the last 50 or 60 acres of it. That was a 275, 250, 225, 250, 50 acre parcel. When their third, fourth great grandfather was living, that was over 700 acres of land. A lot of it was thicket, but it belonged to him. So his children, when he passed on, generation after generation, for whatever reason, they sold it off. Mind you, I believe the man, because he's since changed his name for good reason. Why did he do? I think he knows what his daddy is, because he changed his surname to Marshall. Mind you, that land has always been bad. Always. Everybody can tell you. Oh, and I was going to tell you, you could grow alfalfa well. No crop would grow on that land. Every single time. I mean, one time they thought about pitting an apple orchard because they had 36 acres left. Wanted to put like a little mini apple orchard to go with the railroad house, because they planned on building that plantation house, or at least building a smaller version of it. I don't know where they're gonna get the money from. They had planted, I think they planted like 12 apple trees. They died. Tried to bury corn. Tried to grow corn. Corn is a hardy crop. Died. Tried to grow sugar cane. Died. You can't even have a garden on that ground. The only thing that will grow on that ground is grass, and it's pretty brown most of the season. As green as that grass can get, is the grass that shoots up during the early summer, early spring, and it's going to turn a hay green all year round. Not because the sun is burning it, because the land is tainted. So that gives you an idea what me and my granddad and grandmama had to work with. The land was bad. So mind you, Daddy and them had gridded inside the house. That nasty rotten meat smell had left. All that was left was this really sickening. It smelled like somebody had taken. I know it's so strange. Like they'd taken frankincense and tobacco, put it in water and let it putrefy. It wasn't stinky, but it smelled sickening. It was actually nauseating. So, because they're like, you want to eat something? No, I'll eat when we're fed, when we're done. Mind you, we're going from room to room. Daddy went outside the house to talk to the land, because there's nothing you can do with land like that. The archaeological people tried to move as many people as they possibly could, and of course give them burial rights, or go to the state of Louisiana to see what you could do with them. Mind you, we've been trying to get an African American museum just like Washington D.C. forever. I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, because we could have put them or gave them a decent space. They ended up burying them in the pauper burial, which is outside of Orleans, what they could find. So Daddy ended up making the ground as best as he possibly could. And here's how he did that. Now, that's a form of banishing as well. He took good old sulfur, sea salt, and lye. Sulfur powder, sea salt, and lye. Also railroad ties. Now, mind you, he had half railroad ties and half railroad pikes. Now, railroad pikes, railroad gravel. Make sure you, if you're going to use railroad gravel, which I highly recommend, you could use one pike. Take that gravel, mind you, take a shovel, do what's called a stemmy. And what a stemmy is a 1, 2, 3 inch hole, 3 inch pit all the way around. You just dig enough, just 3 inches, maybe 4, maybe 5 inches. Now you're gonna have to have a shovel. You're gonna have to have a wheelbarrow because you got to get enough of that stemmy. Stemmy is railroad gravel that has rust on it, and that rust has come off the railroad ties. It's not gonna wash off. You take that railroad gravel that's rusty, because it's gonna have a little iron slag in it, and you take that and you put that on there. You put that railroad tie on it, the lye, the salt. You dust it all around. Then you put the railroad stemmy, that gravel on top. You put the tie down, lay it flat, have it facing the west if you can. The west gets rid of trouble. This pointed part facing west. Then you put that railroad gravel all on it. Now, some people are gonna complain that, well, you done dug a bunch of holes with gravel in it. Shut the hell up. Now, what Dad is gonna do is dig it 1 inch deeper, put dirt on it, and they can put sod on it, and you won't know the difference. But some people, they don't care. They don't really care. If they don't care, Daddy will dig it just 3 to 4 inches and let that gravel show. Daddy tries to sometimes, he'll dig the holes. Well, I'm digging them. I'm helping him. We'll do it kind of pretty. Like for instance, if we have a whole, let's say a whole backyard, because we're gonna have to do that at least I would say up to 25 to 30 yards away from your back door. If you're gonna dig 10 of them, that's hard work. And mind you, we have a lot of stem in the truck already. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna make them pretty ornamental. You have them here, make them like one next to the other, make them look like little walkways, because they're about this big, and make them like little things you could walk on, like walk into the backyard. We're not gonna just dig holes in your yard haphazardly. We're gonna make them look pretty because they're gonna have railroad gravel on. You can walk on them. It's not a problem. We took care of the backyard. Now we can't take care of all the land. That's a lot of ass land before you get to the bayou. Ain't nobody doing that. We gotta take care of the land closest to the house. After that was finished, we took a little drink. They were yeah, they were hacking up. They were hacking up in that small house. Yeah, they were. They were, sweetie. I felt that too. They absolutely were. They absolutely were. And I'm gonna tell you something. When he renovated that house and added on his grandmama's house to it, she was a church-going woman and a holy woman. I'm so glad he did, because I'm pretty sure it took a lot of stank off that house. When I tell you that house was haunted, that house was haunted. But it was haunted more so by demons. Now, after the back is done, I'll walk back inside. Not only is the stench gone, but a lot of that nasty tobacco smell is gone, and water, that's gone too. The house was clean, but I remember walking back out nearest, walking out front to the van, because the cousin's father had to bring that big old truck for the stimmy, and I'm sitting there, and mind you, I was supposed to have one, but he gave me a beer. I was too young for a beer, but he gave me one, and I felt something watching me. I told Daddy. He said, "Yeah, but we're not here to clean that up, though." His daddy said, somebody gonna always be in that house. Look what the hell happened in it. But he said, we were hired to get rid of them demons. And that's what we did. We did. We left the house. I know people were still in that house, spirit people. But we weren't hired to get them out of there. We could have. We weren't hired to do that. And I know they're still there. Because the man, he since died. His son went to LSU. Sweet white boy. Sweet as he could be. Oh. That would have been David. David is his cousin. I dated David. Yeah, I dated David for a hot minute. That was his cousin. They don't have it. Mind you, that part of the family don't have nothing to do with them. They think they're white trash. They're not. They're not. They're not. They're just hardworking people. The family still got money though, and they're learned people. They just don't. You know how some folks, they're good education. They just don't look it. They a little dirty looking. That's them. Good people though. But I said all that to say that, mind you, that story there is part of a banishing process. Now, we got that demon away from that home. We did. Now, we couldn't get the spirit of the wandering spirits out of there. We weren't hired to do that. We were hired to get out the parts that were causing major harm. Absolutely. So, yeah, definitely. Let's check and see who's on Clubhouse. I don't think nobody on Clubhouse. Hold on. And nobody, yeah, nobody's on. Okay, there we go. They were definitely hacking them up in there, honey. That was a hot ass mess. Now, you know what? I think that's how I'm going to give examples of banishing and the house cleansing experiences that I had my grandfather and grandmother. Yes, I know I should drink from a cup, but ain't nobody gonna drink from this jug but me. If I had company, maybe I would. Oh my goodness. So, hey man, hey Miss Ibe, how you doing, baby? Now, mind you, if you want to come up, come on up. If you want to come on up and talk to me, come on up and talk to me, because we got plenty to talk about. Because there are more ways of different banishing. I like the fact that we can utilize storytelling to talk about banishing as well, including the elements we utilized in order to get rid of nasty elements. Now, remember, now in that home, that old haunted ass house, we talked about floor washing. We listed the elements to use concerning floor washing. We also talk about wall washing. Now, we didn't talk about wall washing. We did have to wash the walls. But washing walls is not what you think. Wall washing is just taking those elements that we use to clean the floor with, and you put them in a spray bottle. Just don't put the roots because it'll clog up your nozzle, and you spray all around. You just spray all around. And that will clear up, and you spray the mist on the wall. Now, mind you, if you have flat paint, be careful because flat paint stains. But if you have shiny paint, or what's the paint called? It's not flat. If you have that type of paint, then you could just wipe it off and just let it dry. Um, but a lot of times, most floor washes, they're kind of colorless. Over time, they will stain the wall, but they're not going to stain it. They're not going to stain it directly, though. And you just spray a fine mist across the wall. A fine mist is all it takes, to be quite frank with you. And it'll get that spirit out of there. Especially if if it's a really really strong banishing agent or banishing pot liquor. It'll take care of the job because you wash the floors and now you wash the walls. There's no place that nasty spirit wants to be. And also too, y'all, open up your windows. Give that spirit a place to go. Give it a place to go. Give it a place to go. It's one thing to be banishing a home and you start to feel that chaotic energy all around. You start to feel that spirit, it ain't got no fucking place to go. And sometimes I've seen, like, you're working over here and you feel like something thumping, like walking on the hardwood floor. It's like slightly bump into a table, like very slightly bump into a wall. That spirit is trying to get out. It really is. It's trying to get out. So make sure you let them spirit out. I gotta pick this thing under here. Hold on, everybody. I have my mojo. That's what I'm sewing. And I put it right here. There we go. Perfect. That's a cute, cool little mojo. I can leave it off because I'm not going nowhere tonight. All right, there we go. So there we go. So mind you, do y'all have any questions? Very, very good. Now, another thing concerning banishing. Let's think if we could think of another story too, going way back. Another one too as well. Well, here's another banishing story too. That this one was dealing with older spirits concerning. These were wandering spirits or wandering dark elementals from the bayou. Definitely. Now, elementals you have to deal with in a different way. Um, and this will give me a chance to talk about how to work with dark elementals and to keep them from your property. Dark elementals can be very, very destructive. They've never been human before, but as with everything concerning the natural world, including spirit, some things can be incredibly dark. So here's a way to deal with them. Now, we went to one other house. This was actually in Baton Rouge. This was an old plantation. They had torn down the older plantation house. I think it had burned down, to be quite frank with you. No, it didn't. It was termite damage. They tore it down. It was demolition, termite damage, because they still had the cellar. And that the exterminator was wondering, because they had wood piles in the cellar, he had to dig those up and replace them with modern wood. Yeah, that was termite damage. They demolished it. But that being said, they had built over the foundation. They built a new house. Mind you, it was pretty stylish. It was still on really weird land. The land itself felt weird. The land itself felt very weird. But they built a brand new house, pretty much like the style of the plantation itself, which I thought was a really weird idea. But they did want this to be considered a legacy house or part of the historical society in Louisiana. So they're going to build it as close as they possibly could, which makes sense. The owner, as how it was described to my grandfather, the house was the new house that they had built was perfectly fine, and had been perfectly fine for exactly 3 years. And then the owner said he told my grandfather, he said, I started to feel as if I was being watched in the house. And he said I'd walk outside the house into the back veranda because they had what's called an evening veranda, which is a larger veranda where you can hold parties. Then they had a back veranda or sitting veranda. That's quite a few feet away. That's a smaller veranda, and mind you, that was close to a pond. He says I would go to the seating veranda and I would feel as if I'm being watched. And so Dad is like, okay, well, the spirit on the land, the spirit on all this land. Y'all white folks like to, you like to have slaves. So you get what would you want from me? You want me to take care of it? That gentleman, I forget his name because I wasn't there, but I did get to meet him though. He was a real smart man. I think he was a professor or something. He said, no, Mr. Willie, they're following me. Daddy's sitting at the table telling me and Nana, Daddy did this. They're doing what? They're following me home. Spirit don't do that. People without skin, wandering spirits will. Most people get these spirits confused. There are spirits that have personified themselves. They're actually elemental, but they personified themselves as human. They will wander and they will follow you, but those are not human. They've been in the ground for so long to the element of earth has absorbed their power, and now they wander like the wind. Recently passed on spirits do not follow you. Now, if it's a close relative, they can appear in your bedroom. They can, like, if they pass away in the hospital, they can appear in your bedroom to say goodbye. That's not following you. That's making an appearance, giving of official notice. That's a spiritual term. They're letting you know that they're okay, or letting you know that they still exist, that they still love you. This spirit was following him. He got in his little Volvo. The spirit was following him. That's what I meant. All the way to his house, to his apartment. Everywhere he went, he would see that spirit. And Daddy was like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? Now, as Daddy's at the dining room table with me and Nana, he knows what's going on. Only elementals can do that. Here's why. Spirits of human beings are very locational. They only have their specific location. They don't have full carte blanche of that land. They're not land spirits. You're going to find spirits at either where they passed over or where they ended their journey in this physical world. Graveyard, or the place where they passed and transitioned, or even a place where they lived. Those three spaces, that's it. You're not going to see them in the middle of the Piggly Wiggly, down the potato chip aisle, staring back at you, and you're the only one that can see them. That's not going to happen. The reason why that happens with elementals is because the land is their domain. The spirits of the land. They've been absorbed into that land. Now, mind you, you go from parish to parish, they may not be able to follow you into another parish, or maybe they could. Mind you, those parishes are guidelines that human beings have created. Maybe the elementals feel that that guideline concerning that parish should go further into that parish. Maybe those partitions that mankind has made, that they don't go, those partitions don't abide by them. And we've heard of that. There's certain parishes such as Thibodeau that most people that are empathic, we don't go. There's one parish called St. Paul that nobody goes to if you're empathic, because while you're there, night or day, you're going to get a buzzing in your ears, or you're going to get a headache, you're going to smell strange things, or like Otto with you, you're going to feel the spiritual sickness that's going to last you for a few days, literally a few days, because it's so full and rich of disembodied spirit, and mostly elemental. So how do we get rid of elemental spirits? The most powerful aspect of the hauntings that happen south of the Mason-Dixon line. That's easy. Rainwater, all of your mixtures, all of your polite mixtures, polite meaning non-stinky, polite meaning non-caustic, are going to have Spanish moss, tobacco, and other things. But the main ingredients are going to be Spanish moss and tobacco. Now, why Spanish moss? Spanish moss is a parasite that grows on trees. But Spanish moss captures the spirit of the wind. What you're dealing with usually are spirits of the land. But spirits of the land, in the elemental world, there's a hierarchy. You have spirit of wind or air here, spirit of land here, and spirit of water. Spirit of water and land go side by side, but it's spirit of water and spirit of land. They do have a hierarchy, but spirit of air is always going to be up here. So therefore, you're going to need something that's going to supersede their authority. And that Spanish moss, because wind blows through it, it knows the secrets of the wind, can always deal with spirit of land. That's one of the reasons why in our hoodoo dolls or spirit dolls, whenever you want to get in somebody's headspace, we will use Spanish moss, because it's a very powerful agent in dealing with someone's headspace. It's extremely powerful. Because all this up here, your thought patterns, your mind, your thought, all of that, how you think, that's considered spirit of the air. All of it's spirit of the air. All of it. If you really, really think about it. So, one banishing mixture will be this. If you have what this was recommended to this fellow, Spanish moss tobacco. Now, mind you, we're going to use sweet tobacco. Rainwater or storm water. Now, mind you, we had a sweet notion only because he felt that this was female. Now, this was all over his house. So we're going to take this water and do a flow wash. But we're also going to do a type of, and I hate to say this too, but you have to. We're going to find out in that house, usually the basement or the backest part of the house, if that elemental's inside. That most elementals don't go inside the house, but sometimes they do, and they can be very, very dark. We're going to need something to absorb that spirit. So we're going to find a black fabric, going to create a black fabric hoodoo doll or baby doll. Make it big. Fill it with Spanish moss, tobacco. Um, what is the fresh fruit smelling resin? It's not camphor. Oh my sweet lord, it is. It's not camphor. We just talked about it on here too. Fill it with that, not camphor. We have frankincense, myrrh. Hold on. I know it's in the chat too. Hold on just a minute. What is it in it? No. Y'all help me. Now, what is it called? Copal. Thank you, Otter. Thanks, Otter. Thank you very much. Copal. Then after copal, hold on. We have Spanish moss, copal, tobacco. We need 2 or 3 spirit stones that are from the property itself. We need 4 stones from each 4 points of the property, no matter how far the property is. 4 small stones from each part of it, representing the 4 cardinal directions of the property itself. And they can be as far flung as they want to, as long as they're on the property that the house is on. Now that's going to sit near its belly. Now you can also put 2 of those stones at its feet, at the baby doll feet. What else did Daddy put in it? He put cedar dust in it. He put powdered cedar dust, powdered mugwort. I know he put powdered tobacco, copal, dandelion root. It was another root too. It wasn't osha root. Damn it. They call it forever root. Basic forever root is snake root. You know, snake. That's the snake plant. Snake root, blood root as well. Hit that in. Now you can powder them up if you want to. Make a nice powder. Now, mind you, the juju is going to be its guts. Sew that juju up and sew in 1 cowrie shell inside of it if you choose to. You don't have to, but sew in a little bit of the dirt of that land, just a tiny bit. But one thing I'm going to need for you to do is filter that land through a cheesecloth. Just make sure it's pure dirt, and we only need a tablespoon of it, or half a tablespoon. Put that inside those raw roots. And mind you, there's going to be 2 tablespoons of each root. Mind you, the little juju that's going to go inside that baby doll is going to be about that big. If it's a baby doll about that big, a little black fabric baby doll, juju about that big, and that's going to go around its heart area or its gut area. Now the heart area that's there, now pit below it, 2 or 3 rocks to act as its tummy. Sew it up with black thread. Gonna pray over it. Take it to all 4 corners of the land. Hold it up in the land, hold it up, and say out loud, this baby doll represents all spirits that is seen and unseen. This doll is something to the extent. This doll is the land itself. This doll represents the land, the spirit of the land itself. This is your child. Walk, 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 walk. Say the same thing. This is your child, such, 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 such. Go to the other 4, all 4 cardinal directions of it. By the time, it never fails, by the time you go to the 4th direction, that baby doll is going to feel as if it's throbbing in your hand. You're going to pitch your little finger, your big finger to its chest. Very slightly. It's gonna listen, it's gonna scare the shit, it's gonna scare the fuck out of you. The first time you do it, maybe the second time, maybe not so much. The first time you do it, you're gonna feel like a little heartbeat. You did a good job, you're not gonna feel it again. Go put that doll in the lowest cellar. If you have a cellar, put that doll, give it its own little wooden stool or something, put that doll in the cellar, light a white candle to it every once in a while. And what that would do, that would soak up that elemental now has a home. And that elemental will not bother you no more. After 6 or 7 weeks, or 6, is it 6 months? After a month, now you know when to take that doll on the outside. Some elders are going to say to keep that doll on the inside. That's the elemental's home. The elemental is looking for a home, something to encompass it. It won't bother you anymore. Some elders say take it on the outside. Take the elemental take that doll, pit it under your house, or pit it far away from your house, next to a tree or something. I don't know why they say that, because a whole raccoon can fucking walk off with it. And now you're stuck up in a tree. The damn raccoon taught your doll to rip it apart, and probably using its parts to build a fucking nest. No. So keep it inside. Mind you, that becomes an elemental. that elemental has a home, and it will not bother you anymore. You can't get rid of an elemental, but you can appease them so they don't bother you. And they can actually be quite friendly. But elementals will come inside your house too much. You can't get rid of elementals. Now, the land itself, if you have land, if you have elementals on land, the one thing that you can do, you can appease the elemental usually with food offerings. Elementals need to be appeased. More than likely, they're looking to be acknowledged. One of the reasons why elementals get very saucy usually it's because they're used to being appeased. They're used to being worshipped or used to being acknowledged by the indigenous people that once were there before they were kicked off their land. You see, indigenous people did not have these problems because they'd walk onto a parcel of land. They were spiritually intelligent enough to know that this land under my feet is living. Therefore, let me go find a special space on this living land where that space will tell me about what's under my fucking feet and how to break bread with the spirit under my feet so that we both can live happily together. Because I'm in their space. Native people always understood that this don't belong to me. This belongs to someone else greater than me, or other beings that are greater than me, and they will love me if I love them. It's as simple as that. It really is that simple. So you can't necessarily banish an elemental out of your home. There are very rare times that you have an elemental in your home. You can only appease them. And what we're talking about, curtailing an elemental or appeasing an elemental with food offerings, usually tobacco and sugar water and tobacco, or fruit and apple seasonally. These things make these wonderful old elemental spirits very happy. They will bless you with money. They'll make sure your bills are paid. They will take care of you. And if you're a conjurer or a spirit person, they will make sure your magic hits home every time because they've become an ally concerning your spiritual work. And they are wonderful, powerful allies to have. Absolutely. What time is it? It is 11:32. I done soda my mojo. I feel great now. I'm gonna have me a candy bar. Do y'all have any questions? Hold on. Did anybody come on? Hold on. I think everybody's asleep on Discord. US. No, because everybody used to come on Discord on here. Hey y'all. Very good. Lovely. Very, very good. Hey LaTanya, what's going on, honey? How are you doing? You're very welcome. You have such great information. You're very welcome, honey. I appreciate you. Now, the thing about it, too, understanding that when you want to banishing bohags or wandering spirits, okay, that's the last part we're going to talk about. Wandering spirits. In the Deep South, you're going to come across wandering spirits. Oh, thank you so much, honey. In the Deep South, you're going to come across wandering spirits everywhere. Wandering spirits are people. We are living in a space in the United States where people were treated horribly. They were treated in ways we don't even want to imagine. And it's not our fault, but we can be a part of their healing. Mind you, excuse me, that's one of the reasons why my grandmother, my grandfather got in the business of house healing. It surely was because of the money. Because we could keep getting paid a lot more money, but people ain't gonna pay it. You make a very good living, but we should be getting paid. The work we'd be doing and the type of money these people are making should be getting paid tens of thousands of dollars. It's not the money. It's because we know we're setting people free. It's because we know and understand the turmoil, trials, and tribulations that these people, many that are our ancestors, went through, and we want to set them free. Wandering spirits usually, and you can feel the wandering spirits are called one word in the deep south. They're called haints. And as slaves or enslaved people, we knew haints very well. Being working on a plantation, and you saw a family member or someone murdered for any nefarious reason, their spirit is not going to rest easy. And mind you, not only did they murder them, they probably buried them in a very disrespectful way. That spirit is going to wander the earth until their mother and father, their relatives, because see, some slave owners got really smart about it because they got tired of having their ass handed to them when they were doing their dirty work, killing people. So they would force their slaves or the relatives of that person that had passed on or was murdered. They would have them buried. They would give them time with that body, time to bury that body. They would hand that body over to those people. Bury your own. Here's a shovel. You worked that field before. You know how to work dirt. Bury your own. And we would take that time to bury them with as much love and care. Why did they do that? From what I heard, in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, there were so many cases of plantations being absolutely infested with horrible psychic and spiritual phenomena. One case in particular, this was in 1826. The plantation, oh my goodness, the the parish. I know it's two parishes away from Street. One parish, two parishes away from Streetport. I can't remember it directly. The plantation was named True Star or True Star Morning Star True. I think True Star Plantation. The man that owned it, his name was Monroe. He was an evil, evil human being. As quick as he got slaves, he'd work them to death. In the 1820s, it got so bad on his plantation, his slaves were dying off this mysterious sickness. His farm animals were dying off this mysterious sickness. So you got a priest there. Guess what happened to the priest? Priest got sick and died. Over 4 or 5 priests came to them from different dioceses, parishes, Catholic dioceses. All but one passed away violently. Them haints, them wandering spirits were not playing. He took the lives of those people cruelly, and they were vengeful, and they were hateful, maybe as they need to be. That one priest worked with a conjure man by the name of Thompson. That Thompson name back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, on up to the 1870s, you're going to hear about Thompson a lot. They were leading conjure people all around the parishes. Beaulieu's were too. So were we. I think the Thompsons were a lot more famous than us, though. He was a conjureman, Elder Thompson, and he told that priest exactly what to do. Here comes the banishing remedy. He told that priest, he said, I need for you to go to a railroad. Now, mind you, we talked about Bremmel, or we talked about the gravel. He didn't want that. He wanted the mud. Back in the day, you would have the railroad. Railroads were highly built up. They had all that gravel, but there was always a pit, and that would turn into a ditch during rainwater season. He wanted that mud, and he wanted a lot of it. Now, why mud from from old railroad track pit? Because of the rust. But it was also mixed with the silica. It was also mixed with clay, red clay, and blue clay. So what he would have them do is mind you, he would have maybe Elder Thompson had the children build little pots out of that mud clay, and in each one all around the property. He put in rice, sugar, tobacco, and he put a red cloth on it. And he said, leave it dry, just dry, rice, sugar, and tobacco, leave it like that. And he said, every night, and not every night, he said every Thursday, to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not Monday, for 3 days, you keep a white candle lit there. You're giving them, you're giving them offerings, but you're doing so in a way that elevates them. And it worked. That property, for the most part, that property that we're talking about, um, Star Plantation, it's still there, and I'm not going. Dad ain't going either. They want to hire us, then pay right. Nobody taking that shit home. No. For the most part, it worked. Definitely worked. These people were coming down sick. Now, mind you, that is to heal wandering spirits or hates. And that's part of banishment if you're in the Deep South. There are many people that are in homes right now that are probably having things happening that they don't even know that are paranormal. They walk, you're outside your house. You just drove up. You feel great. You walk inside your house, 5 minutes. Oh shit. Oh my God. I got a headache. I want to lay down. I just feel weird. I want to lay down. 2 and 2 makes 4. You walk through the threshold of your home, and now you feel like you want to kill yourself. Your home is infested with nasty energy. Do something about it. I feel like in this quantum space right now, in the future, I'm probably talking to you. Your home is haunted. Here's what you can do. Okay, now if it's not haunted, it has nasty ass spirit in it. Here's what you can do. Now we talked about it earlier, how to grid your home. Now we talked about how to basically grid and take care of wandering haints that have been murdered. They need food offerings, but they needed food offering in that ditch mud made into these clay and mud vessels. The clay and mud vessels, mind you, now I studied that. That goes back to a Congolese old grave rites, an old funeral or burial rites ceremony that actually goes back thousands of years. The Congolese, in one or two or three particular tribes, they would bury the ones that had passed on. They would bury them to one side of their home, in their home. Mind you, you're living there, but the people that they love were underneath the dirt. Everybody was or living or spirit and skin. Everyone lived under the same roof. But in the part of the home, because you're not going to sleep on them, they're over here. They would have their wooden shrine, and on it would be a clay earthen vessel full of food offerings, usually dried food offerings and something sweet. That was honey. And after every month, they pour it out and replace it with wild honey and rice and something else too. But that clay vessel was there to feed them. Now, mind you, I found it funny that they didn't cook the meal, but that was their custom. More than likely, the people that were killed on this plantation, that's probably where their ancestors were from. A lot of times, and discovering and doing the research from your ancestors gives you an idea of how your funeral rites should be, but not only how the end of your life should be, but also too how you should be living your life. There's all types of information you get concerning what your dietary habits should be, what you're better suited to eating, your style of eating. A lot of this will probably make sense to concerning your body and your blood type as well. Now here we go. Inside of a haunted house, we're going to grid the home. I'm going to recommend floor washes, wall washes, spraying of the wall. I'm also going to recommend, now I do have alchemy seals that if anyone ever needs them in this video, just contact me through here, and I'll send them to you free of charge. Let's talk about a banishing formula to start out with. I'm going to recommend that if you're going to grid your home, get 10 empty Gerber baby food jars, sea salt, yellow sulfur, and garlic powder. And you're going to put them in strategic dark places to make sure that darkness or stagnant energy has no place to exist. Just move that energy on. Just move it on. Move it on. Now, under your bed, we're going to put, of course, 20, what we used to say 35 ounces of, of clean water. Now it's 40 ounces of clean water. Take a big old bowl of water and fill it full of clean water. Don't use a metal bowl, glass, ceramic, or plastic. Fill it with clean water and sea salt. 32 ounces. Was that 32 ounces? 42 ounces of clean water. Put that under your bed. Take 2 to 3 tablespoons of sea salt. Dissolve that sea salt inside the water. Place it under your bed. That'll help detoxify your spirit body and you'll sleep really good. Take it out and replace it every 2 to 3 days. And put it back. If it's brand new, put it right back. Now that'll help make you feel good. Let's make your home feel good. So we have the alchemy seals. We've gridded everything. We flow washed everything. Now we're going to also make sure we put seals. Make sure we put the threshold over your home. You can use the railroad tie threshold, or you can use a good mojo. Another good mojo to be over your home, over your front door. Now I'm always want rust. I'm always going to want some type of rust, some type of railroad tie, some type of iron tie. Now, if you don't want to use iron, a railroad tie for some strange reason, I understand. You can use what's called a lodestone. Lodestones are natural iron magnetite. You can get them on Etsy or you can get them also on Amazon. I would get them from Etsy. Get a large lodestone. Okay. Now make sure that lodestone has lodestone powder. And in that powder, you're going to put for the dried roux that you're going to put that lodestone, the fed lodestone, and the powder. First, add the iron powder to it. Feed it. Hit it to the side. The red part, now the powder, the additional dried roux we're going to add. Rue, yarrow, sage, spikenard, snake root, bloodroot, wormwood. Put that in a red mojo. Oh. Dad will use a red mojo bag. Use red mojo bag. Put that in a red mojo bag. Okay. Now put in your lodestone. Tie it up. Take a tack. Stick that right above your front door. Inside your home. It can be outside there. If you want to put one outside your home, great. But the one you put outside your home, make sure you have sea salt and sulfur to add to that. And you'll be fine. That way nobody can... Hold on. If you put outside your home, that color has to change to purple. It can still be red. Purple is more sovereignty over the home. Because that railroad, that mojo is going to protect not just your front door, but all of your home, all of the front of your home. Also do the back door, inside and out. That'll protect the corridor. That'll protect the entryways or the thresholds. And that'll make sure that nothing can walk inside your home that doesn't mean business. Now also too, the bottom thresholds of what you walk over. Inside threshold, pepper, salt, sulfur. Outside threshold, pepper, salt, sulfur, blue powder, anil powder, azul. Put powdered azul inside the threshold as well. And that'll protect. Also, powdered azul is a hate powder. Hates do not like it at all. And a lot of times I like to take powdered azul, take it up and chop it up, crush it up with that camphor tabs, or mothballs, or both. Hates hate mothballs. They can't stand them. And they hate camphor. They can't stand it. So take the camphor tabs, crush it with the little blue azul stick, crush. Spread it all around, take a little bit of it, brush it into the dark corners of your closet, everywhere. You can actually put a little bit of ramekin and have it there, and just put like two mothballs on it every once in a while, or a little bit of camphor tab on it every once in a while. That keeps away hates. But put that by your front door with a glass of water, and that'll be good. And that will just keep your home nice and fresh. And that way, that old stagnant energy won't be there. But you gotta take care of your home. So there's the art of banishing and hoodoo and conjure. There's so many ways you can banish, but those are just a few. Y'all need any help? Hit me up. I'm tired of talking. Imagine me tired of talking. But no, honey, there's so many different ways of banishing. Oh my God, there are hundreds of different ways. I think one of the reasons why the Beaulieus, I'm a Beaulieu. The reason why we're so familiar with banishing is specifically because we were known as protectors of our community. We protected our community really well. As Beaulieu, we know protection better than anything. We know protection really well. So that's what we did. We protected people and protected ourselves. Do y'all have any questions? Y'all come talk to me if you want to. Come talk to me. And I'm gonna have my water. Look at my big old jug of water. I said earlier, I'd grab a glass, but ain't nobody drinking with me. So I'm gonna just drink the whole jug. Mind you. You know you done talked a lot when your tongue feel like sandpaper. Another banishing too as well. Speaking of water banishing, that's what we can do. We can go by the elements of water. Water, there are all types of waters that can be used for banishing. Rainwater, storm water, bayou water, war water. Mind you, making war water out of bayou water is a great way to deal with your enemies. You don't want that water inside your house. But that storm water, make it into war water is a great way to defend your home. And all war water actually is. It's just water with rust in it and with hot peppers. Some people add hot peppers, like red pepper. Hold on. Red peppers if you want to get rid of somebody. Black peppers if you want to protect yourself. Don't ever use red pepper in any storm water or war water in your house because it'll drive you crazy. I got some storm water tonight, very good, because it'll drive you crazy. But if you want to get rid of somebody out of your house, you take this storm water, you put red pepper in it, and mind you, it's your home. But here's the way to do it. If they're living with you, everywhere they touch, you take a little brush and you just brush the doorknobs with it. Or you could put it a little like under the bed they sleep in. It's a dirty trick, but you want to get it on them. You get it on them, they're gonna become uncomfortable. Oh, I gotta get up out of here. Oh, I don't know about living here because you don't know how to treat me right. Mind you, are you been doing this feeding them, taking care of them? I don't feel appreciated. Okay, well, don't let the door hit you where the dog cracked you at. Just listen. Bye. Get out. Don't fucking come back. Get your ass up out of here. But that's one way. You can use warm water for that too. Yeah, there's so many different ways you can use. You can use water. You can use water. Absolutely. Good night, Latoya. I've been listening so long to you, Theo, that I'm hearing familiar terms. Oh, there you go, honey. I know, baby. Listen, you know what? Knowledge like this is good to have because if you ever come across trouble, you'll know what to do. Now, mind you, you may not need it now, but you may need it some other time. And that's the part of learning because you can always recall it when you really need it. So that's, a lot of times I like to be on here jibber jabbering. But if I talk about something long enough, it catch hold to you. And you're going to need it, especially in this day and age. But tomorrow I want to get on and talk about personal protection. Conjure you can use, mojos you can create to protect your person. There's too many of us coming up missing. We need to solve that. Absolutely. All right, now listen, Arda knows all about personal protection. I done told everything. Listen, Otter, she got that nigga downstairs. He don't know his head from his feet. He feeding his feet and brushing his head, brushing his toes like they teeth. Very good, honey. I enjoyed myself too. Listen, everybody, be good. Take care of yourself, and I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Baby down, baby, baby. Hey. There we go. Bye-bye, everyone.